Hello and welcome. Margot Robbie Birds of Prey sequel is apparently axed, and Warner Brothers is moving on. Now, this is firmly a rumor. I have to stress that straight from the top. Like, it is just a straight up rumor. But I can really believe this, and I'll say it for like a number of reasons. When things go into development, you know, they are like so many years away, right? Now, the writer on Birds of Prey was Christina Hodson, and obviously Margot Robbie starred and produced. They have both been tapped and picked up by Disney for Pirates of the Caribbean. So, rumour, but can I believe it? Yeah, I can. And also, why would Warner Brothers want to make a sequel to a movie which didn't make very much money, if at all, off the top of my head? So, it's incredibly unlikely that this is actually false. And, you know, I think they tried it and I think they realised that it's not going to happen. But we'll take a look at the actual rumour on a whole and just kind of discuss a little bit more, shall we? So a report says that Birds of Prey 2... Oh, by the way, this article is down in the comment section, description box. If you really wanted it and wondered, it's dead at Warner Brothers, and so is hope for any follow-up. So Giant Freaking Robot claims in an exclusive the potential sequel is cancelled and everyone involved from studio creative teams are moving on to other things. Now, they are actually moving on to other things, which hilariously is obviously pinned up here because obviously it pertains to Margot Robbie and Christina Hodson. Now, I don't know who Giant Freaking Robot is. I can't verify any of this myself. So it's all completely unverified. But, you know, we take a look at things and we say, right, well, is there, there any evidence to support this? Well, yeah, there's evidence to support this. Absolutely. Now, their source says Warner Brothers no longer believes in the concept or in the creative team behind the movie. And again, the primary reason is money. Now, I can believe that. The creative team was, of course, Margot Robbie. She was an executive producer. She had creative say. We had Christina Hodson. And then we had the director, whose name actually escapes me off the top of my head. I did know her name because we were doing lots of videos on her at one point. Birds of Prey obviously tanked at the box office upon opening. It earned roughly 33 million opening, which was actually the worst opening for any DC movie ever. Warner Brothers was hoping for 55 million domestically, and it was projected to gross higher. And look, there's a few reasons as to why. I mean, you know, Harley Quinn is a more marketable name, but Margot Robbie's not really marketable as Harley Quinn in a standalone. You know, she was enjoyable in, well, some people liked her in Suicide Squad for other reasons. But then you also have to question like Warner Brothers' direction on this because, you know, she was idolised in Suicide Squad for a certain aesthetic, which they completely wiped the floor with come Birds of Prey. And it was fascinating as to why they did that. And obviously you can cite many sort of current social movements, I guess. The covering up of women and the, I guess the sort of glorification of hiding oneself rather than embracing one's appearance through fear of being objectified for, again, whatever reason. You'd think like empowerment would allow you to feel confident in, you know, in your appearance, even if you were being objectified, but whatever. So it basically tanked. You know, it wasn't very good for many reasons. They'd even changed the name. I don't know if anyone was aware of that. Obviously, it was like out for a few days. It was out for like its opening weekend, and then they're like, "Oh, we're going to change the name. Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey." They quite literally changed the name of the film, which I think is pretty unheard of. I know Edge of Tomorrow started changing their name to Live, Die, Repeat, but that was mainly on like home release. So I don't think I know of any other film that's changed their name during the theatrical run, and this one did. It may be one of the first, if I'm right. Now, obviously, ticket sales weeks in advance painted a different picture. Theatres across North America before the COVID scare screening the films were almost empty, which, yeah, it was. And according to the numbers, the film made 201 million worldwide, with 84 million from the domestic box office and $117 million abroad. The report, it made 2.5 times its production budget, which is estimated 82 million. Now, it's really important to note, for anyone that cares about mathematics for these things, which some people do, but 82 million is obviously a conservative estimate for the production budget, not the marketing budget. It would have had probably about $100 million because it went back for quite extensive reshoots quite extensive, in fact. So you could, even conservative estimates, probably about $100 million. And it had a massive marketing campaign, so you could probably estimate roughly around another $100 million for its marketing campaign, which was extensive. They were releasing a lot of trailers. The billboards were everywhere. I don't know, in other countries, in other territories, but I do know here in the UK, it was everywhere. So the fact that it made, what was it, 201 million, I think it would have, not broken even at all, if anything. And then the film was actually released early on video on demand, and its price was reduced instantly, essentially, to $5.99, and as a result, it went to #1 on the iTunes chart. But then it was actually beaten by Sonic the Hedgehog again, which was quite funny, because of course Sonic beat it at the box office when it was in theatres. But then obviously it goes further and says, that's not enough, and Harley Quinn's presence might get reduced in the DC Extended Universe going forward. And the thing is that there's no real reason for Harley Quinn to exist in the DC Extended Universe without a good Joker, because they are two sides of the same manic coin, right? They are important with one another. Harley Quinn's creation on Batman the Animated Series was influential because of the Joker. You can't do her without the Joker. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's bigoted or sexist. Not really. Her creation is important. Her dynamic with other characters are important when you have that core backstory there. It's the linchpin of her entire personality. It's why she is who she is. So it's surprising that it's not surprising that they're going to axe her, because we don't have a strong Joker in the universe anymore either. Now, obviously, she is in the Suicide Squad, which this article says could turn her fortunes around, but I doubt that, and apparently so does Giant Freaking Robot. They cast doubt on if she will be a leading character. She wasn't really a leading character in the first one. She was she's a prominent character, but she wasn't a leading character, and she doesn't need to be. That's the thing, she doesn't have to be a leading character. It's a really dumb approach to be like, yeah, definitely leading character. She doesn't need to be. She works best, actually, as a bit of a quip machine. Saying important things, not just quippy, but she works best as a secondary character that bounces off of a main one. There's not enough substance to her, and yeah, they might have written her differently recently, and I don't know. So this is somewhat of an ignorance talking with respect to the comics, but in terms of how I've seen her with respect to Batman the Animated Series and things like that, she's still always someone that does get stuff done on behalf of the Joker and does sort stuff out. But she doesn't work without another character to bounce off of, in my eyes anyway. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure there'll be many people screaming at the screen. Sharing the screen with Idris Elba and John Cena, aside from a host of others, a reduction of time in the spotlight is possible, and a far cry from being the last film's breakout property. But again, she was a breakout property by and large due to what she was wearing, and a lot of people will cry sexist on that, but hey, there was a whole bunch of young girls dressing up like her and planting themselves all over Instagram. So it's not sexist. Everyone idolised the way she looked. They wanted to look like sexy Harley Quinn. So she was a breakout property by and large because of what she looked like. And if she doesn't have that aesthetic again, she won't be a breakout property. Sorry, but she just won't. Post-Birds, Harley would have been busy hooking back up with old allies in a Gotham City Sirens movie, and an adventure with ex-Mr. J in Harley and Joker. But Giant Freaking Robot says both spin-offs are on hold or scrapped, and I would imagine scrapped. The fact that they're looking to go more Zack Snyder-ish with their universe, potentially, whilst also having Robert Pattinson's Batman trilogy, nah, it's done, I think. I think it's in the can. Really, really done in the can. So yeah, there you go. I mean, that is the rumor, right? And then obviously, like I say, they go further. Warner Brothers' confidence in Margot Robbie may have been diminished with the box office returns, but Robbie and writer Christina Hodson are off now to do Pirates of the Caribbean. And the thing is, the time span on that production. I mean, how are you going to get a Birds of Prey sequel out in time? You're just not even writing it, not even having Margot Robbie there to star in it. They don't have the time. So I don't think they're going to do a sequel. I don't think they can. Birds of Prey flopped largely because of its divisive marketing that discouraged men from seeing it, and they then turned around and blamed the male demo for not showing up, even though it was 50 plus male actually opening weekend. So yeah, it's all Mel's fault, isn't it? Director Kathy Yan, there you go, that's the one, found fault with undue expectations on a female-led movie and the extra burden on her as a woman of colour. Total nonsense. The female-led movies work. Wonder Woman worked. What are you talking about? Aliens works. Like, she's smoking crack, woman. And the fact that she's a woman of colour, that's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. Please don't, pass the buck with such simplistic remarks. There's more nuance to that as to why. That's not the reason. It tanked for many, many other reasons. Those weren't the reasons why. Clearly, men wanted to go see it. Your audience, women, they didn't want to. There you go. Again, 50% male, right? Opening weekend. So, kind of speaks for itself. But what do you guys think about this? Please do let me know down below in the comments. If you're new here, do hit subscribe. And guys, if you wanted to support the channel further, I do actually have a Patreon, which is linked down below in the description box. Next Monday, we're doing a Skype hangout for $10 or more patrons. We all literally just hang out, get together on Skype, and just chat. Just shoot the breeze. It's a good laugh. So, check it out. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Mr. H. Take care.